Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, December the 1st, 2020. Today we're going to be working on multiplication with number lines. Yesterday we talked about the commutative property and how we were able to switch the order of the numbers and still get the same product. So today we're going to learn how to use a number line to multiply. So it's just another strategy or another tool that we're going to use, or another model basically that we're going to use to multiply. So again, we are going to be learning how to use that number line today. And my question is, how can we use a number line to determine the product of two factors? So we're going to be asking that question as we move through the lesson. You will need the number line available to you that we've used on the virtual manipulative slide, so that you can use that in class. So I'm going to have you to open that up in just a few minutes so that you can use it during the lesson. We're going to talk about the important vocabulary for this particular skill that we're learning with multiplication. And we've already talked about a lot of these during our class. The first one is just the multiplication itself. It's the process or skill of multiplying. When we multiply, we use factors to multiply. So a factor is a number or a quantity that, when multiplied with another, produces a given number or expression. What it actually does give you when you multiply two factors is a product. The product is the quantity obtained by multiplying two factors together. We've used an array, and an array is a way to represent multiplication using rows and columns. We've also used equal groups, which means the same number of objects in each group. We've not talked about area yet, but we will be using that as well for multiplication, and it's the same number of objects in each group. So it gives us that, I don't think that's the correct definition for area, but anyway, let me get that quickly for you, and I will change that out. And then our last one's going to be repeated addition. We're adding equal groups together, meaning we're going to repeat that number over and over based on how many times we're multiplying that number. So an array is the amount of space a flat surface takes up on a plane. Okay, so let's jump into the first problem. Now remember, we're going to work this problem out on a number line, and we're going to try to understand how the number line should look when we're using it for multiplication. So our problem says that Marley was training to run a 10K. She decides she will begin by running 3 miles 7 times a week. How many miles did she run in a week? You're going to show your thinking on a number line. So we're going to pull up our number line from our virtual manipulative slide, and we're going to make this problem on that number line. So it's telling us that she is going to be running 3 miles 7 times a week. So remember, on this virtual manipulative slide that we're going to use for our number line, you go down to the bottom where it says change line settings, and we're going to do no ticks, or let me see what spacing is here. We could possibly go ahead and use our spacing this way, but I don't want any ticks. I want no numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and put no numbers, because what we're going to do is we're going to make our own numbers here. So we know that he is going to run 3 miles 7 times a week. So I'm going to count by my threes. So the first number that I'm going to place here will be 0, because we're going to start on this number line at 0. I'm going to go ahead and count up by threes each time. And I'm also going to help me out, I know that I'm going to have to do it 7 times. So I'm going to go ahead and start my hops here. So that's going to be 1 hop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my final answer will be, when I'm doing 7 hops to represent the 7 times, And I know that each time I'm going to go 3 miles. So I'm going to go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So we know that if he runs 3 miles 7 times a week, that he's going to be running a total of 21 miles. So our number line represents that by each hop is going up by 3, and I have 7 hops in all. So this is going to represent the number of groups I have, and how many are going to be in each group is going to be represented here. So I have 7 hops because I'm going to be running, or Marley's going to be running 7 times, and each time she's going to run 3 miles to get a total of 21 miles. So we can use that number line to help us with this particular problem. So let's go back and think about some of these questions that we have about the problem for Marley. What was this problem about? We knew that she was going to be running 3 miles each time that she ran, and she was going to run 7 times in a week. How could we show this on a number line? We just showed that on the number line that we did together. Where should we start on our number line? On this particular problem, you're going to want to start at 0 and hop up from 0. Why? Because then we're going to see how many we're hopping each time. It's going to allow us to see that grouping. If we're going to have 7 groups, how many should be in each group? So it allows us to do those hops based on 3. So each time that we hopped, we were hopping up 3 more each time. How many hops did you do on the number line? We did 7 hops because it said that they were going to be doing that 7 times a week. And we knew that each time that he ran, or that she ran, it was going to be 3 miles each time. What did you hop by? We hopped by our 3s because we knew that each time that she ran, it was going to be 3. How many total miles did she run in the week? She ran 21. And we knew that because we hopped 7 times, and each time that we hopped, we went up by 3. How is representing multiplication on a number line similar to the other strategies we've learned? And then how is it different? So we talked about, and I even used that in my representation of this problem, we talked about how it related to grouping. We knew that we were going to have 7 groups, and in each group there was going to be 3 hops each time. So we could use that like repeated addition on that number line. We did repeated addition. We did 0 plus 3, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So when we started at 0, we hopped up 3. We hopped up 3 more to get 6. We hopped up 3 more to get 9. So basically we were using repeated addition to help us. How is it different? It's just a different look. We still see our groupings. We still see how many are in each group, but it's just a different visual for us to see what the product would be. How do we use factors to represent multiplication on a number line, and why? Well, in this particular case, we saw that our factors were 7 groups of 3, and we know that that is 7 times 3. Where do you find the product when you multiply on the number line? So did we notice that when we looked at that number line earlier, we could see that the number we ended on is going to be the product when we take into consideration the going up on the number line, and in our case it was by 3s, and we had 7 hops to represent the number of times that she would be running. So we would find that on the last number that would be the end of the hops that we were to complete. Do you think it is an efficient strategy for multiplication? Why or why not? So this is going to be an individual opinion. I think it's very efficient. It's very visual for me to see it, but it may not be for you. It's just a strategy that I'm teaching you, and of course you've learned other strategies, so you've got to find out which one works best for you. I kind of like all of the strategies that we've done thus far, But again, that's going to be a personal choice for you. So you're going to decide what you think is best. All right, so let's do one more on the number line, and we're just going to do the 8 times 3. After you finish watching the video, I want you to go ahead and do 4 times 7 and 2 times 9 on the number line before you complete your assignment today. So go ahead and let's go back to that number line, and we're going to do 8 times 3. So in the problem that I had was 8 times 3. So we know that we're going to start out with 0 again. And we're going to go up by 3s. And we already know, since we went up by 3s before, what these first few numbers are going to be. And then we're going to represent the, oops, got my number line off. So what I did was I went ahead, I knew that I was going to have 8 hops, so I went ahead and put my hops up there, and now I'm going to fill in my numbers. So I have 3, 6, 9, this next one's going to be 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. So I see my 8 hops of 3. So each time that I hopped up, I went up by 3. And my product of 8 times 3 is going to be 24. So remember that this is going to represent the first number. We have 8 groups of 3 because our hops went up 3 times. So when you're looking at that number line, you're going to think about how many hops it's going to take and then what the hops are going up by. So what I want you to do is the last 2 of those on your own on the number line before you complete your lesson work. You're going to do the problem of the day, and then you're going to do IXL E8. It's all about the number line. So make sure that you understand what the hops represent and what each part at the bottom, how many you're hopping up by each time, to help you out with that to find the product. So you will be looking for one of the missing factors. You're going to be looking for both factors and the product in some of those questions. So make sure you look at those closely. It took me about 28 questions to get a 100 SMART score. So just take your time and make sure you're reading the problem. If you make an error, go back and look at the explanation so that it can help you so that you won't create that error again. I do want you to put in a message to me in the lesson work, um, telling me what your favorite part about winter is. Tell me what your favorite thing about winter is in the lesson response so that I know you've watched my video. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.